Jesse Donald Knotts was born in Morgantown, West Virginia in 1924. Don Knotts, or Barney, as so many of us know him, had great success in Hollywood, both in television and in motion pictures. He was truly a great comedic actor in that he was nowhere near the characters that he portrayed in real life. This humble, soft-spoken man could have taken a totally different path, but for the loving and supportive mother he had and a brother that he idolized. Don's early years were a true nightmare. Don was the youngest of 4 brothers. Don and his 3 brothers were raised by their mother, Elsie. She was 40 when she had him, and all of his brothers were between 10 and 15 years older than he was. After Don was born, his father, William, had a nervous breakdown and could no longer work. He was later diagnosed with schizophrenia and was often bedridden. But there were times when he would terrorize Don with a knife. They lived in and ran a boarding house after moving into the city of Morgantown. Don turned inward at an early age because of the turmoil his father caused. He spent hours at this movie theater, the Warner, in downtown Morgantown, to escape the troubles of his home. Now, when Don was 13, his father died of pneumonia, and Don felt a burden was lifted from him. He began to change to an outgoing and popular kid at school. His brother Shadow, or his real name was William, became the one Don looked up to as a father figure. Shadow worked retail. He worked at G.C. Murphy and also at McCrory's in Morgantown. This is the store he worked at, and I can just imagine young Don going in to see his brother at this location. Don continued to become more and more outgoing, becoming very popular in school. He performed as a ventriloquist and a comedian at school and at church events, becoming more sure of himself as time passed. Now, Shadow, his brother and father figure, had moved to work at this Montgomery Ward in Moline, Illinois. Shadow had been plagued by asthma all his life, and in 1941, he had an asthma attack and died at the age of 31. Don was crushed by this, and he was only 17 years old. After recovering from this and graduating from high school, he continued to sharpen his comedic skills in the service. By entertaining the troops, he worked with more experienced showmen, and this made him grow as a comedian during this time. He eventually met his first wife, Catherine Metz, at college, which was the University of West Virginia, and he leaped into show business full time. After some major failures, he finally landed a role in No Time for Sergeants, where he met Andy Griffith. And the rest, as they say, is history. From a very troubled childhood and other heartbreaking losses to one of the best comedic actors ever, Don will always be the best in the business in my book. Thank you, Don, for the laughs you have and still bring to us. Thank you so much for watching.